Well, this is a tricky issue because the cleanliness of the lakes is a county issue. Now, what we can do in District 8 and in the city, and I do believe that the city should be taking as big of a role as they possibly can in the cleanliness of the lakes. One thing we can do is increase funding for street cleaning and sweeping to keep the runoff as minimal as possible. Right now, and at least until through 2012, you're still going to have coal plant runoff from the Charter Street coal plant, melting snow. It goes into Monona Bay. You look at the problems in Monona Bay. If you're here during the summer, you know that you can't even swim in the lakes. So we have to do everything we can as a city to address this problem. We can't have our lake shores, which directly affects everybody that lives in District 8, to the point where we can't swim in them. So as a city, we must do everything we can, and part of that is going to be increasing funding to clean up our streets to minimize runoff.
Brian?
I think the lakes is a unique issue because it's not just district-specific or municipality-specific or county-specific, because it involves so many different players. So dealing with the lakes, I agree that we need to address, at least in the city, some of the sewer grade covers and street sweeping and those initiatives. We also need to partner with the right kind of groups and people, whether they be the county or public or private companies, to look at what is the root cause of these blue-green algae in the lakes that restrict so many different activities in the lakes and cause so many problems. And the biggest cause is the manure runoff from the north side of Mendota. So looking at partnering with the county and getting some federal grants to purchase things like biodigesters, which you can input things like manure, switchgrass, leftover food, pretty much anything that can break down, and not only can it remove some of those methane gases from the manure, but also create new energies at the same time. So it's a win-win, and it also removes a lot of the smell from the manure at the same time.
Katrina?
Yeah, I think it's important for the city to try to do all it can to really work at cleaning up the lakes. I think one way is to work with the county board, particularly on environmental impact statements and things like this, to really, not just in terms of the lakes, but to make this decade a really green decade for Madison. I think it's that time on multiple fronts. I think that students shouldn't have to worry about going and swimming in the lakes and jumping out thinking they might come out with an itch. I think that that's awful. I think that the lakes really make Madison what it is, and if we can't, come together as a city and as a county to really put efforts into maintaining these lakes, then it says a lot about, I think, us as a city and as a county, because we're an isthmus, because we're between two lakes, and this is important to who we are. So I think it's definitely something we need to work on.
Jacob?
Yes, definitely, as Mark said before me, on a city basis, I think that we need to do everything we can to minimize the runoff that our city creates going into our lakes. As Brian identified before me, manure runoff is a large part of what causes the problem. That does need to be handled, and we should be partnering with the county and with the state to handle that. This is a countywide issue, and this should not just be a county issue. It should be a city issue. It should have the involvement of everyone. It should not be pinned primarily or solely on property owners. Lakefront property owners should not have to shoulder all of the responsibility for cleaning up their lakes. The lakes are something that we can all enjoy. We all should enjoy them. They're beautiful lakes. I'm pretty sure we all have enjoyed them, at least in the way of sitting at the terrace and looking out over the water. It's all of our responsibility, and we all need to work together to find the most effective way.